Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
They're talking.
It is April the 13th, April the 13th, 2024, and we're live here every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mr. Mike Overson, right next to me with Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill, the Minnesota Real Estate team. RE/MAX Advantage Plus in studio today, Steve Groen, Standard Water. Also, we got full house, and we are always welcoming your questions, comments, thoughts on the social media stream, wherever you might be catching us, or 612-294-6949. Again, 612-294-6949. Mike, Scott, good to have you back, Mike. You've been gone for a little bit.
I have been gone. Did you guys miss me?
We did.
We've all week we've been like, I can't wait till Mike's back.
We have been missing Mike.
There's like a void.
What did Scott cry again? No?
Always. I'm a crier.
Yes.
Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're going to go live for about 50 seconds. We always have a fun question, non-real estate related. And because this is, I'm sure you all agree, the best week of the year, every year.
Well, it could get a little windy today with gusts as high as 30 miles per hour, but it's going to be 78 degrees tonight. Mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming clear with a low around 49. Sunday, sunny with a high near 72. Monday, a 30% chance of showers, mainly before 1. Mostly sunny with a high near 72. Tuesday, showers and a possible thunderstorm, currently 53 and sunny. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Sorry about that, guys. We got a little different thing this weekend, but we appreciate it. We appreciate you joining us. Scott, fun question. Before we go live real quick.
So it is Masters week. So real easy question. Who do you think is going to win the Masters? Except you can't pick Scotty Scheffler. Other than that, who do you think is going to win the Masters? And who has won the most Masters? Don't Google it. Who's won the most Masters?
Here we go. We're going live on air again on WCCO. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for tuning in. Hope your Saturday's starting off well. April the 13th, 2024, and we are live here every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate team with RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Hope, again, the weekend is starting off well. We're going to have some wonderful weather, and this is a show that we do with all things real estate related. We are local, right here in the Twin Cities, and we are live. So we welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. 612-294-6949. 612-294-6949. That comes right to us in studio. And good morning, Mike Overson, Scott Wolmering. Mike, it's great to have you back, bud. You've been gone for a couple of weeks.
I have been gone, and it's good to be back and see you guys, and good to be back here on WCCO again.
Yeah, Scott, good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us during the whole show. You can either call in and go live on air if you have a question, or you can text it. A little fun question we do every year. This is my favorite week of the year. It's Masters week. So the question's real easy. Who do you think is going to win the Masters? And who has won the most Masters? Don't Google it because you'll know it. Just answer the question.
Yeah, again, we always enjoy hearing from you with questions, comments, thoughts in studio today. We've got one of our great partners with the Minnesota Real Estate Show, Steve Groen with Standard Water, a great company, wonderful guy. Mike, we got a lot to talk about today. Let's dive in. This week, interest rate. First segment of the show, we normally do a mortgage and a real estate update. What's going on interest rate wise, inflation wise? How's that impacting people?
Well, do I have to talk about that because it's not good?
I know.
And not good this week. Again, it's only just 1 week too, right? So if we look back at Wednesday, the CPI report came out. So Consumer Price Index report came out. It's just a measure of inflation, right? Where's inflation at? Did gas go up? Did milk go up? That type of stuff. That stuff did. And so this report came out on Wednesday, and the interest rate market did not like it. Rates went up 1/4 to 3/8 in 1 day on Wednesday. So it was a really, really bad day on Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, we kind of gained some of it back, but not a whole lot. So we're ending in the low sevens, 7.125-ish, somewhere in there for a 30-year fixed. at the end of this week. We go back a couple weeks, we were sitting closer to 6.625, so I tell people rates are like an EKG right now. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, right? It's not going to be steady for the next several months. So it's important to work with a good loan officer, someone who can maybe keep an eye on the market for you, gives you some good advice. Do I lock? Do I float? And then it's still a great time to buy a house.
Mike, I had a question that I've been thinking about on this with rates, at 7 now-ish, let's call it that. There's a national statistics that if we drop an 1 point interest rate, so we drop 1%, that puts 8 million people into the market that are currently not in there. Do you think from just your smaller sample size, is that people that just don't qualify or that just don't qualify for what they want to buy? Because from my end, when I see the numbers stay consistent of searches, so I know people are still looking at the same house, but your activity is so much lower. So I'm just wondering if people are waiting for it to drop to the affordability of what they want to buy, not actually the affordability of where it is right now.
Most people can qualify where they want to buy in today's world. It's I can qualify for a $500,000 house, but I don't like that payment that comes with it. So that's the majority of it, to be honest with you. There's probably 10 to 15% where it's like, yeah, rates at 7, they don't qualify for what they want to get. Rates go to 6, now they do. They're riding that line. Most people, 80, 85%, they can qualify at that 7% rate. They just don't like that payment.
So I think about it from our side, Ryan, maybe you can comment on this too. So if that's the case, let's call it 15 to 20% that are sitting on the sidelines that can't buy can't buy what they want because of the interest rate. So if we do have a drop to 1%, then we're going to have just a nut show of people just jumping in because now all of a sudden they can get there. So I've always believed that you should still buy now and then refinance to get what you want instead of having to pay so much more once everybody's back in the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we talk about now. And we have this buy now, refinance later program where if you do a purchase loan with us anytime in 2024, your first refinance you do with us, we'll do it with no lender fees. So we'll waive all our fees on that refinance.
That's amazing.
It's tough to get some people over that hurdle
Yeah.
of, okay, but I'm going to be at this payment where I can make it, but I'm not comfortable at it. What happens if rates don't come down?
That's right.
Hey guys,
That's a hurdle you got to get over.
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Just want to catch our real estate update before the break here. A lot going on here today. New listings in the Twin Cities were down this past week 10%, 1,014 new listings. Pending sales were about flat. They were very even, very similar to last year. And the inventory in the Twin Cities increased actually 12%. So 12% more homes for sale in the Twin Cities, and some good numbers for new construction. Housing starts nationally are up almost 11% from last month. And then this is from the U.S. Census Bureau. And then again, looking at overall housing completions, they've rose 20%. And that's the highest level that actually we've seen since January of 2007. So there are a lot of people that now interest rates, again, as Mike and Scott were saying, maybe it's settled in where it is, but people are starting to move again. Deals are happening. We're seeing more activity in the market, guys. I know we've had a couple of questions come in here too, but we're up against the first break here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. You're welcome to join us, 612-294-6949. We'll be back. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show on WCCO. New construction, guys. Any thoughts on that? Some good new construction numbers there.
Yeah, when you were saying that, it reminds me of about a year ago when we were talking about it, and we said that. New construction is going to do well, and I still believe that what we were just talking about. Interest rates are at 7%. The majority of builders that you're building with, you're getting a 5.5% rate. They built it into the cost of it. Now that was really prevalent last year. I'm not sure if it's going to be as hot this year, but still, I believe new construction's up because you don't have to pay taxes on your lot for a year. You get a break there. You can get a 5.5% rate. You get a break there, and of course, people love new construction anyway.
Steve Groen, good morning to you, buddy.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Thanks for joining us. We got a lot of folks on social media, wherever you're catching us. We appreciate it. Don't ever hesitate. If you're watching and you got a question, comment, thought, something you want to ask us, we always love your interaction as well. So please don't ever hesitate to ask questions. Steve, good to see you, bud. You're busy as ever, I know.
I am.
Yeah, that's okay. Yep, we're not live right now, so,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just got here.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not on here every week like you.
No, it's okay, bud. It's
Not a
okay.
trained professional.
What's new with you? Tell people a little bit about your business, who you are, how you're helping listeners.
Yes, so we do radon mitigation, basement waterproofing, foundation repair, egress windows, block windows. We're a specialty business.
Yep.
We're the sort of business that when you need us, call us, but otherwise we're kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yes. So this time of the year, with a little bit of rain, we're out swapping sump pumps. There are days that we'll swap out like 30 sump pumps in a day.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
It gets
Lots of
crazy.
water in basements.
So when you say
this time of year.
when you say swap out some pumps, you mean actually just replace them?
Mhm.
Why?
Well, at some point they fail. You know, the other thing is some people want some redundancy, so they want alternating pumps or a backup pump or that sort of thing. Or we get out, we'll move a
All right,
discharge
first off-
line.
first
If people
off,
see the
what's your
discharge
name?
line on the outside of their home, they don't
Yeah.
want to see it, we'll bury it. So you don't have to see
Lauren?
it.
No.
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff like that, fun stuff.
Dennis is taking a couple calls right now. Again, it's 612-294-6949. You can text us there too. Mike, I'm happy to hear you're busier. It seems like people are kind of settling in and there's more activity in the market just in general compared to last year.
I mean,
Hang on.
April, May,
Yes.
June, Minnesota, right?
I'm just the phone.
That's when the crazy spring market happens. So, it's a 3 month where the forces, even though the forces are against you, if interest rates are higher and things like that, people are going to be out there busy because it's April, May, June. It's our hot time. So,
Yeah, it is good. Scott, you bring up a good point with builders. People forget a lot of times the lot tax. That first year, again, you're buying it, so you're not paying taxes. And maybe we can talk just briefly about it. I know we've hit it a lot, but I know you had put up a social media post, Scott, just talking about just the rising costs of everything. It was a picture from the grocery store and a lot of comments that
I mean,
people had.
people went crazy.
Yeah.
It was actually a good learning thing for me. I go to wherever I can go to get groceries, so I don't have like a place. And so I needed my normal stuff. I buy it every single time. It's about 18 things. And it was $182. And it took up that much space. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I only had 2 chicken breasts, so it wasn't the meat. So $182. And then I got a zillion comments of, where to go. Aldi was by far the biggest one. And
Sure.
I guess they're supposed to be good, but it really just had to do with people just feeling that this sucks. I mean, it's so expensive everywhere you turn.
Yeah, the other thing too, the big thing with housing is insurance as well. We'll talk a little bit about that, about rising costs. We're going back live on air. Thanks for joining us on social media, wherever you're seeing us. We do appreciate it. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Appreciate it as always. And a kind thanks to our friend, Mr. Dennis, who comes in every weekend to deal with us and help out with the phones. And speaking of phones, we've got a caller here, Lauren, who reached in. Actually, she just dropped off. Lauren from Chisago was calling in. Don't hesitate to call us back, Lauren, or text us. We lost your call, but again, it's 612-294-6949. How you can join us. We are live here, guys, every Saturday morning. How does that feel, Scott?
Oh, it feels good. I mean, this is it's going to be 80 degrees today. It's Masters weekend. We're on the radio. It doesn't get any better than that. Which brings me to our fun question of the week. You can text us your answer. You don't have to call in on this one. 612-294-6949. Who is going to win the Masters this year? Don't pick Scotty Scheffler. We all have that pick. Who else do you think? I'll tell you what mine is. He's 6 shots back right now. I think that Schauffele is going to win the tournament, and he's 6 shots back. But I think he's going to win.
Yeah, golf, indeed. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us at any point throughout the week as well. You can call us or text us. Got a listing to feature Mr. Mike. Adam Benedict, great agent on the Minnesota real estate team, Remax Advantage Plus. He's got one in Golden Valley. This one is $675,000, 2141 Scott Avenue North. And it is a Rambler. Adam said it's a 4-bed, 3-bath home, beautifully appointed. It's got a fantastic lot, great yard. Open concept living, south-facing sunroom. We like that for the sunshine. Original stone gas fireplace, 4 bedrooms on the main level. Finished lower level, Scott, includes a massive storage utility space that can be used as a unique opportunity to add equity, additional 1,000 square feet. Check out the photos again, 2141 Scott Avenue North in Golden Valley. 675 Ramblers. People like Ramblers now, guys. Maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, you can maybe comment on this as well, but I think that the number one product over the next 10 years is going to be Rambler living, either single family, but more importantly, I think people are going to be going to, if they can find slab on grade, patio homes, going to be the hottest thing. Rambler townhomes that maybe still have a basement, so when the grandkids come over, you still have a place to have Thanksgiving and Christmas, etc., but you live on your main level. It's the graying of Minnesota. I forgot, somebody could probably Google this, but what the average age is going to be in the next 10 years in Minnesota, I believe it's 58. I might be off on that a little bit, but the point is we're getting older. Older people get worse knees. They want to be on one level, so stairs go away.
Yeah, I'd say one of the builders I work with, they just added 2 more floor plans for single level living on their stuff. It was probably the most brought up question in the parade of homes this year when I was in the models there with some of the builders I work with of, what are your single level living plans look like? Do you have slab on grades? Do you have this? It's going to be, for sure, it's one of the hottest property types that we're going to see, like you said, over the next few years.
Yeah, I was just, sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say along those lines, Ryan actually had set this up. We just had a meeting with a couple of the other agents on the team with Robert Thomas Homes out of south of the river. Incredible builder. I've said them before. They're probably my best mid-size, 700 to $1.2 million builder that's out there. And they are doing an entire development in Lakeville schools, all Ramblers with basements, in that under 525 range.
Wow.
Which is just, I mean, it is just, if you've heard this, I don't know when they're going to roll it out, but it's going to be relatively soon, but those will go so fast. And their product is incredible.
Yeah, one thing I would say, again, if you're a seller or potential seller, buyers, there is buyer activity in our market, but pricing is really important. Staging, presentation, pictures, all very important. We are seeing some multiple offers. Just this morning, I got a couple text messages from team members working through offers and trying to advise their buyers on multiple offers. So stuff's actually happening, guys. It's good. I think people are starting to move again.
Crickets. Yep, they are.
Because last year people were not moving. People were not. That's the big thing. And I think right now people feel like, well, hey, maybe I should keep waiting. And I guess what we're seeing in the trenches daily is a lot is happening. As a team, we're probably up, I don't know, probably 15% year over year in transactions. So there's a lot of stuff happening.
I mean, I think our market has proven that over and over and over again, waiting only costs you more.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it definitely does. One thing that Ryan and I disagree on in this, I'd like to get your breakdown on why you think this is a positive, and I'll give you mine where I think it could possibly be a negative. So we've been talking about getting inventory back. And for the last 3-4 weeks, I think we've been up in inventory every week, more. And we specifically, you have been saying that's a real positive thing. And I have a little bit of a different take on it. Why do you think it's a positive thing?
Because I get 6 emails a day from Edina Realty, Coldwell Banker, Remax, our friends at Keller Williams, all of our good friends in the industry, where great agents at all of these companies are working with people trying to find a home. And they have been unable to find a home for the last year, 2 years, 3 years. And as agents, I saw a team member who posted they've been working with somebody for 5 years to try to find a home. They haven't been able to find a home. So just on a kind of a basic human level, to help people find housing, we need more inventory. So that's kind of my thought.
Yeah, and my slant on it's a little bit different. I definitely agree that to give this more of a balanced, long-term balanced, market, we need to get back up into the 12, 13, 14, 15,000 homes. However, I believe that because people have had such sticker shock with interest rates being so high, that again, we have the same amount of people out there looking. And so if inventory continues to grow up, but our interest rate does not, I think we're going to see our inventory grow. I don't think it's going to get mopped up as quickly as we would like to see. And my concern is if you do get into that 14, 15,000 homes, let's say in the next 2 years, and you still have rates not in the 5s but in the 6 or 7s, then we could see a loss of value if that happens. I don't know if that's going to happen.
So Ryan said that our inventory has gone up year over year 12%, right? From last year at this time to this year at this time.
Yeah.
But really, what does that mean? Do you guys know the number of homes we have on the market right now?
7,029.
And balanced is 18,000. Equal amount of buyers, equal amount of sellers.
So back in 2007, we had 36,000 homes. So again, we've got 7. So 7 divided by 30, that's less than what, a fourth of that inventory.
Yeah. So we're a ways off. I don't see us getting to 13, 14, 15,000 listings until like 2030 or later. Like, I think it's several years down the road.
Steve Groen, what do you got there, buddy? You're sitting here so patiently listening to us jib jab.
I enjoy listening to you guys talk. So if you're looking for a house, I think most people, they find a realtor, they go online, and I don't know if this applies necessarily, but at my own company, I needed to find more space. And I was working like 3 or 4 commercial real estate agents. They couldn't find anything. One day I just got pissed, got in my truck, started door knocking just around, and I found like 3 or 4 places that could rent spots for my trucks. So I'm always buying more trucks, right? I finally just said, I can't just sit here and hope. I wonder, I mean, if someone wants to find a home, they know the neighborhood that they're in. Why not just go door knocking? Or like, how's people, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna sit there and wait for the phone ring? Hey, we got a house here, fine.
Yeah, Scott, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think any proactive agent in this market not only door knocks, which is what you're saying, hey, and again, you're door knocking to say, I'm assuming you're probably not looking to sell, but you know anybody in your neighborhood that is, oh yeah, the Johnsons over here have been talking about it at our cocktail party last week.
So do agents do that?
And they definitely do that. The other thing that we do a lot of, so for example, if I'm working with Steve and we identify 3 neighborhoods, he's like, yep, Scott, this is where I want to be. Then what I'll do is I'll have my I always say my girls staff write a handwritten letter to each one of those homeowners saying, we have a buyer, here is his specific needs. The more specific you are, the more sellers will respond to you. If it's a vague, hey, they're looking for a 2-story, 4 bedrooms, they think it's a marketing ploy. But if it's specific, what's that?
Yeah,
red door.
Yeah, red door.
Just
Exactly.
send it to the homes with the red door.
No, it's a good point though, Steve, because I think again, and that is the importance of a really good buyer's agent, what he or she is going to do. There's a lot of different things to find those properties, and not everything is going to be MLS listed, and you got to send letters, do some door knocking, some networking with a lot of other agents. We as agents kind of know each other in the market, so there's a lot of things, but it's super frustrating, Steve, like you said. So think about all the buyers out there like you and the agents out there like you saying, I'm trying to find something for Steve Groen. It's been a year, and in your case it worked, but in a lot of cases it just doesn't.
Well, and you know what, Steve, I'm glad you brought this up, because when I was a brand new agent 25 years ago, I got all my clients from open houses. And I remember being new, and I don't have any clients. I have no business. I have nothing. And so when I would meet with a person at the open house, I would say, you'd be my only client. I would literally die and kill for you because you're it. And there's something about having a new aggressive agent, because I would have knocked on anything and wrote letters. Well, you get a little bit more seasoned. You've got a lot of clients. Is it worth your time to go out and door knock? I mean, those things start to drift away a little bit.
We're at the halfway point here. Before the break, though, I did want to mention Mr. Kevin Curtis with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus, a great listing in Minneapolis, 5806 Grand Avenue South, $475,000. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath home in the Wyndham neighborhood. Does have a nicely finished basement, hardwood floors, a large kitchen, perfect for gatherings. Again, 5806 Grand Avenue South for $475,000. Very nice property. Be sure to check the photos out online as well. Again, thanks for tuning in. It is going to be beautiful weather. It is beautiful weather this weekend here in Minnesota. We're live here at WCCO each weekend for the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Please don't hesitate to reach out at any point. We'll be back after the break. Good stuff. Good stuff, Steve. So, Steve, you found your commercial space, huh?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just went door knocked. He was an electrical contractor down the road, locked in. I pay him quarterly. We parked trucks there and some trailers. And along the way, there were three other places. This was in like the space of 3 hours.
Oh.
I'm just walking in, door knocking, handing business cards out. And then along the way, too, I'm like, this is what we do. Do you want a home? Yes, we do. Do you have a sump pump? Yes, we do. Okay, well, we replaced thousands of those things. Here you go. Oh, I've been thinking about a backup pump. So, I mean, it's work, right? You have to constantly sort of network and get at it. You
That's
just
right.
gotta, like being on a radio show, you know?
Hey, appreciate so many folks joining us today. Again, if you're catching us the first time or you watch each week, thank you. You can always comment wherever you're at. If you got questions, comments, thoughts, topics you want us to hit or discuss, or you agree with, or you disagree with, please don't hesitate. Interaction's good. Right, Mike?
That's right.
What do you think, Mike? What's going to happen here up until the election? Are we going to stay in the sevens? Are we going to or are rates going to mysteriously come down?
I can confidently say that Scott was probably way, way wrong on his interest rate prediction.
I was.
What was it? What was
I said we'd be in the fives by May. And we've gone the opposite way. I just could not believe that this administration would leave interest rates at 7%. And I understand people are saying, "Oh, they don't control interest rates." Yeah, they do. And if they wanted them to drop, they could. If they wanted them to drop, they would drop. So it just surprises me in an election year that interest rates not only are not dropping, but they've gone up a little bit because people are getting killed, and a lot of people vote with their pocketbook.
Right. Yeah. You look at the end of December, December 28th, we had rates at 6.125. We're basically a full percent higher now. So one of the things I saw was rates this year in general have actually crept up versus down. I mean, we still think from January 1st to December 31st of this year, it'll be a downward slope. But to start the year off, we've actually crept up a little bit versus down. And everyone's just like, what? That wasn't supposed to happen, but it did.
Comment here, Mike, from just a pre-approval standpoint with your clients, how's your book of pre-approvals now versus last year at this time? Do you think about that?
We have more pre-approved clients now. There's a ton of buyers sitting on that sideline. Just wait. And a lot of them, I don't think if they're waiting for interest rates. Some maybe they are. I think they're just waiting for the right house to come up.
But I would argue that's the crux is they're waiting for the right home to come up to be at the payment that they want to purchase. And that's not matching up right now.
Yeah.
It's like, I want that house. Well, that house is 675. I don't want my rate at 7. But if I want that house, if we're at 6, I'm in.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of that, even if it's not conscious. I think in the people's mind, they're not feeling the house for the payment. And
Can't you just offer less and get it, Scott?
Yeah.
Can't you just
Yeah, it is. It's interesting.
offer buy 75?
Yeah, that's right.
As we noted in the first segment, again, more activity just in general in the market. New construction is up. New listings about flat. Again, we're about 7,000 from a new listing standpoint. Mike, any tips you would have for people, for potential buyers in the market to help them in this market best navigate it?
Credit score is a big thing. You know, obviously your interest rate, and the bigger factor is mortgage insurance. That PMI is super cheap, right? Super cheap if you can have good credit scores up there. So when I say super cheap, I mean I'm doing a loan for someone $700,000 purchase price, putting 10% down. Their PMI is only like $60 a month.
So mortgage insurance,
right? So credit score drives mortgage insurance and interest rates. So if you can get if you are in that middle tier for credit and you can get that bumped up.
What is top credit? What number?
Like top?
Yeah.
Top is 780 and higher. And then it goes in 20 point buckets. So 780, 760.
So if you're above
740,
780, you get the best rate.
you get the best of the best.
But if you're above
CCO,
680,
Yeah.
it's still decent.
you're still decent. But if you have a 680 credit score versus like a 760 credit score, right?
We're good.
$400,000 house, 5% down.
Thank you.
Mortgage insurance is probably going to be $150 a month difference between the two.
All right, we're going live back on air on WCCO. Thanks for tuning in. Hope your weekend's going well. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Appreciate your questions. Had a text come in that just said, "Can you guys discuss the off-market listings and how those impact the numbers that you're talking about there, and whether or not, given the door knocking that you guys mentioned, is that becoming an increased percentage of overall sales
I
for
think,
door knocking?
yeah, I think last year when we did this last year, we looked at off market. So homes that did not go on MLS or went on MLS for a day pre-sold. And I want to say it was like 8%. I don't remember it, but it was not as high as you would think. It was like 6%, 8% of overall transactions were off market or non-MLS.
Yeah, I think first of all, a lot of agents maybe don't do door knocking.
Yeah.
So it's a smaller number of agents who do door knock. And again, so it's probably not a lot of sales guys. Like what you did, Steve, was unusual, I would say. It's proactive. I'm not surprised knowing you. That's a compliment, right?
Well, thank you.
Well, and Steve's so sweet. So I mean, when you open the door and then Steve starts talking, you're like, oh my gosh, come in. Let's have some tea and crumpets.
Steve
Let's
is
hug it out.
Yeah, let's hug it out.
Hey, Steve Groen, Standard Water. Each week, again, we have one of our preferred partners who join us. Just a little segment, a little bit talking about what you're doing, how you're helping listeners. What's going on with Standard Water?
This is our busy season. And right now we're running the live service calls on sump pumps. We replace literally thousands, plural thousands of sump pumps each year. So the guts of our business is waterproofing, obviously. So we install drain tile, waterproof exterior, interior, all that sort of thing. But if you already have drain tile, then the heart of the system is a sump pump. And we install alternating pumps, backup pumps, different size pumps, buried discharge lines, single discharge line, dual discharge line, different check valves. It's kind of like, remember that Forrest Gump show where they talk about shrimp?
That's just what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
I just was thinking,
Fried shrimp.
and I
these
guess-
pumps, that kind of pumps,
Ricocheted front.
Steve pumps, more pumps here.
But just,
Steve, I love it.
yeah, my mind's kind of random, but anything dealing with sump pumps. People look in and sometimes you look in there, it's like, oh my God, it looks so ugly in there. It smells. That's all right. We'll take care of that. So yeah, waterproofing, egress windows, and then radon mitigation. Our phones are just lit up right now. Our business is doubling, tripling year over year on radon mitigation. In fact, your real estate agents call me all the time. Give free estimates and good prices, and
People hate radon. They hate radon.
Steve's company, so I was just going to give a shout out to Steve and his company. So they just installed an active radon mitigation system in my house about a month ago. I have a newer construction house built in 2016. It had a passive system.
Yep.
Guess what my levels were in my basement?
6.
11.
A little like that girl.
I don't
Wow.
like.
If you live to be 300, that you could be affected by that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And so it was 11. You're not. It's not supposed to be above 4. So you guys came in, and I called them up, and it's like, yeah, they were there in a couple days, and they put it in, and now we're all the way down to like 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, great job.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
So from a radon standpoint, and I don't want to go too deep on it, obviously, there are concerns. Maybe help people understand, again, Steve, affects how it affects us as
Sure.
humans.
I like to give the example of chlorine. We used it as a gas, or countries did, to kill people in World War I, but we also put it in our water to take out bacteria, because at small levels, it's okay. With radon, you can take it in. It's in the air we breathe all the time outside. It's fine. But given enough exposure to it, like smoke, and given a long enough exposure to it, it does cause cancer in some people. We all know people who smoked till they're 80 and it didn't have issues. So it affects people differently. So the technical term is a picoliter is how it's measured, but people just talk numbers. You want to get under 4 is what the recommendation is. The lower, the better. And homes just need ventilation. If you look at, well, how's radon getting a home? It needs 3 things. You got to have radon in the dirt surrounding the basement. Not all dirt's the same. Second, you need to have a pathway to get into the basement, like cracks. And third is you need pressure. So in the wintertime, you open your front door, out goes the hot air, but also it puts the basement negative pressure and sucks it in. So the radon levels are actually higher in the wintertime. Little known fact.
That's good. It's really good.
Restrain yourself on the excitement. Well, it's like, you're like, wow, that's.
Well, what it's no secret. I understand radon, like a lot of things over time can be, and I get it. And Steve Stalock has argued with me forever, the dangers of it. The part I've always had the problem with is if you leave your windows open in your house cracked, your radon levels will be non-existent or very, very low. And so I've always thought that there's enough, most people don't live in a house with all windows locked all the time. And that seems to be when it's higher. But again, I know people are completely petrified of it, so I'm not downplaying it, but I just have never been a radon guy.
Well, sometimes we went into a home here recently, the rate in the winter, the radon levels were just off the chart. And part of it is they had an abandoned chimney with like an 8-inch flue that was just dumping the cold air in the basement, but hot air leaving and putting the basement in negative pressure.
Yeah.
So we sealed that up and that helped reduce it dramatically. So there's a lot of ways you can do that. The main thing is if you're concerned and you go have the test done, there's a variety of companies that do it. And if you want a free radon test kit, I'll be more than glad to mail one to you. Just find me on LinkedIn or go to standardwater.com, standardwater.com, and just send a request in. Short of that, we give you some pricing and their same day installs. The other thing is, like, for a lot of real estate transactions, sometimes the sellers or buyers just need a number to negotiate. We can help you out with that too, give you pricing and help the transaction go through smoothly.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was just going to say really, really quick. And from a transaction standpoint, radon is one of those things where if you have the test done and it comes back positive, do not do it. Say, I'm not going to do it. The buyer needs, and let the deal fall apart, because you have a disclosure issue then that you have to disclose you have high levels of radon in your house. Now, the majority, what is it, 70% or higher, 60%? So most houses are high, 40%. And I don't, but a lot of them are already high. But once you have knowledge of it, now you actually have to disclose it. Well, it's like anything else. Oh my God, that house has high levels of radon. I'm going to stay away from it.
Yeah, again, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show, 612-294-6949. Before the break, Sue Marty with the Minnesota Real Estate Team's got a nice listing up in Brooklyn Park, 8468 Yates Avenue North for $239,900. It's a two-bath, end unit townhome. It's also got a 2-car garage. It's got new LVP flooring in the entry kitchen lower level, freshly painted. Sue said it's move-in ready. And it is very conveniently located near freeways, grocery stores, shops, restaurants. And they will accept FHA and VA for all of our wonderful vets, as well as conventional and cash. So be sure to check that out, 8468 Yates Avenue North in Brooklyn Park, a nice property. We're up against our final break at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. 612-294-6949 is how you can reach us throughout the week if you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, or you got any questions. We are here for you. Hope your weekend's going well. We'll be back after the break. Good discussion though, Steve, Scott, on radon and just the risks of radon. And sump pumps too. I just think springtime, all these sump pumps you're replacing. I'm happy to hear you guys are busy.
Very busy. Yeah, it's thick. And once it rains, like we get 2-3 days of rain, we book out like right now. It's just crazy.
So do you give sump pumps for Christmas presents?
Yes.
He could.
Just show up at Christmas, be like,
So the radon thing. So Ryan, you were licensed a few years after I was. So
Yeah.
So my first 15 years in the business. The only radon tests I ever had was from relo companies, along with termites, which we don't have. So relo companies would always have them do a radon test. It was so unusual. And then an article came out, I don't know what it is, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, or whatever, talking about the long-term effects of radon. Well, then it became, I would say, I don't know, maybe 70% of all purchase agreements will have a radon test done. So it just kind of came out of the blue. It was never done before, and now it's done on almost every one.
you ever seen one of those radon maps of the country, like the hot zones of radon?
No one looks at that except for you.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I said
We're definitely in it. Like
yeah.
the Midwest
We
here,
are.
it's like yeah. I can even pull up, show you guys. But yeah,
It's like a heat map.
it's like a heat map, and like the dark red is like the highest levels of radon. I mean, we're basically right in it.
Steve, I bet you've seen it. You've analyzed it, I know, and that's probably why you invested in a business where we got a lot of radon here. I know you.
Yeah, I want to say like Colorado's a little bit higher too, I think.
Yeah, so here's
There's a heat map.
the map.
Should show that for a heat
So-
map.
You guys want to see
Lots
that?
of
Oh my
red.
gosh, yeah, we're red.
So
A lot of red.
I don't know if they can see.
Yeah, a lot of red.
There's a lot of red
Yeah, that's
there.
the only time I've ever seen Minnesota red.
Right?
Yeah. It's normally totally blue.
But
That's
look at
weird.
that. You go,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, it's basically Minnesota west until you get to what, Montana, Wyoming out there, Colorado and stuff like that. But you get into Texas, I mean, there's not much in Texas, not much in California, not much in Florida.
Do we guys think the presidential choice, who people pick, will have an impact on interest rates?
Yes, I do.
Do we really think?
I do.
It'd be interesting.
Yes.
And Mike, from your perspective, historically, I know how Scott feels. I'm curious what you think about that.
I'm more curious on will the president that we get, will that impact or radon?
Yes.
I mean, that's the big subject for the day.
yes.
See what you get at the Minnesota Real Estate Show.
Well, we could be lobbyists. I think that it should be, I think the government should get involved and make radon an absolute test for every inspection.
For
Just
Steve.
Absolutely have to do it.
There you go.
How would you feel about that, Steve?
Works for me.
Do I think the president that we get here in the fall could change interest rates or will? Yeah, I do. I think so.
And help people understand that though, because isn't it the Federal Reserve? Don't they pick that?
They don't know. There's a
Talk
market
about
out there.
that.
There's an interest rate market out there. The only thing that the Federal Reserve picks is the rate that banks can borrow from the government. It's not the rate that consumers can borrow from a bank, right? And so the interest rate market is based on its own market. It's not based on that at all. How can the government lower rates? It's all about liquidity in the mortgage-backed securities market. So they can take $2 billion and say, we're going to go buy a bunch of mortgage-backed securities here. And if they do that month after month after month,
We'll drop that rate.
interest rates will go. I mean, we could see rates at 5% by fall. if
Yeah,
they
and
want.
one of these presidents or presidential candidates is pretty involved in real estate. And so he kind of gets it. And I forgot, Adam Hartung said once, there's 37 economic factors
Here we go, guys.
that are tied to the real estate market when it has to do with the econ.
Does it rhyme with grump?
It does, yeah, the price is growing.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Got a couple listings. This one is in Scandia, 10740 230th Street North for 1.1 million, 4-bed, 3-bath, a 28-acre property. Wow, 500 feet of lakefront on Manning Lake. Tons of fishing on this lake. Formal dining, eat-in kitchen, overlooks a beautiful wooded area. Tons of trails for hiking, horseback riding, snowmobiling. Open houses this weekend. Sue Marty's going to be out there Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 2. Again, 1.1 million for a 10740 230th Street North. Very nice property. And then the last one that I wanted to touch on is one other one from Mr. Adam Benedict. This one's in Minneapolis, a condo for 175,000, 1912 DuPont Avenue South, number 202. It's turnkey living, great convenient location, open concept, beautiful hardwood floors, king size primary bedroom, has 2 separate closets, off-street parking, updated common spaces that include security, entry, lobby, hallways, and elevator. During the break on social media, we were talking about, obviously there's a presidential election coming up. And I think it is a fair question for people to ask. Does the choice in president impact interest rates? And we were talking a little bit about it, Mike. You were just saying, doesn't the Federal Reserve choose that? And maybe share with people again, just how that works.
Yeah, so the interest rate market for consumers, right? Your 30-year fixed conventional stuff, that's its own market there. It's all about liquidity and other factors. The government doesn't just pick what interest rates are. The government, what they do is they have the prime rate, which is the rate that banks can borrow from the government from. So what does that affect? any loan that is tied to prime would be affected by then the Federal Reserve raising or lowering rates. Home equity lines of credit is the biggest one out there. It's usually prime plus a particular margin. So as the federal government raised the prime rate, now your home equity line of credit rate goes up. Doesn't directly impact, 30-year fixed conventionals or anything like that. How can the government lower interest rates? It's all about liquidity in the market. So think of a loan. You got a loan, right? You got this set of documents, that's your loan right there. That's a good that you can sell. So if there's more buyers out there that will buy that, well, that'll bring the interest rate down. It's kind of supply and demand, right? So the government can go in there and say, hey, we're going to go buy, $500 million worth of mortgage-backed securities for the next 24 months in a row, and we'll see rates at 5% by fall. So that's how they can do it. It's just a matter of, do they have the money to do it? Do they want to do it? What other economic impacts does that have? That's for them to decide. But if they want to do it, they can do it.
Well, and I look at it from a standpoint of the overall economy, and the fact that I believe that if, especially with the court finding where we're going to have a little bit of change for a period of time with buyers agents, rates being up, inventory going up, if we see home ownership drop because of these factors, then again, from an economy standpoint, Adam Hartung obviously can talk about it more brilliantly. The effect on that is going to be substantial, and I want to get away from where rents are going up, not because anybody renting thinks that's a good move, and you're like, why would you pay $2,500 in rent? Well, because I can't afford $3,500. That's the problem. It's no one would want to rent when you're young. Of course, we've gone through wealth and what you do by owning real estate, but it literally is getting to the point of, I just can't afford that payment. So yeah, it's dumb, but I'm going to rent because at least I can afford $2,500. I can't afford $4,000.
Yeah, it is an interesting thought. Again, I know it's, we obviously don't want to get political on this show,
God,
but I think just to help people understand that, Mike, I guess my quick follow-up question is, why wouldn't the government, you said the government could do that, what you just described, why would they not do that, knowing the effects?
Yeah, I mean, they've done it in the past.
Yeah.
They've done it in the past, and as recently as probably right before COVID, to be honest with you, if I remember correctly. I remember when Trump first got elected, interest rates went up to 5 1/8, and it was the first time we had seen a 5% interest rate in like years,
Yes.
right? And then January came along when he actually took office. Rates were all the way back down to like 3.99.
that's right.
So it went up right away, right around the election time. As soon as he got elected, they went up to 5.125 was high, and then all of a sudden it just nosedived, and it went down to 3.99 by January 1st.
Well, think about what it stimulates. So if you make homes affordable, which let's just go on the assumption that most people would choose to buy if they can. Think about all the other things that are affected by that. Moving companies, furniture sales, Home Depot numbers, insurance. I mean,
Sump pumps.
sump pumps. Why, everybody that goes to work when homeownership becomes available, affordable.
Yeah, very good, Scott.
Thanks. I thought it was all right.
Hey, Steve Groen, Standard Water, fellow agents listening, plug in with Steve and his team. Awesome. Again, basement, waterproofing, radon. Anything else you got going on over there?
Black windows, egress windows. Basically, if someone has that icky basement that kind of has an odor to it, we can help resolve that sort of situation. There's a variety. We have dehumidifiers as well. And we're obsessed with customer service. We work with probably 100 customers every week, and go check out our Google reviews. We're 4.9 and very obsessed. It's kind of interesting.
Very obsessed.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. In life, we kind of remember the negative experiences sometimes. And I had a customer this last week, very difficult, actually refunded all their money.
That feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
See, look,
Well,
I'll give you back the money because I really want this phone call to be over.
Well,
I have done it myself.
It just shows that you're focused on doing what's best for people.
yeah, some people, you just can't make them happy. So,
Yeah.
But we want to make everyone happy.
Steve Groen, Standard Water, again, standardwater.com. Mike, last thoughts for people?
Well, I got to give a quick shout out to my youngest son, Trey. He actually turns 5 today.
Oh my gosh, what is he, 6'1"?
Almost, right? He's a monster. Well, Tyson is my 7-year-old. He's the monster for his age. Trey's kind of normal size, but we're getting wild. We're going to go to Good Times Park in Egan. So it's
Nice.
an indoor park. It's going to get a little nuts. So happy birthday, buddy.
Guys, I just want to say congratulations to my oldest daughter, Jordan. She is getting married this next weekend in Arizona. We're all heading down. She's planning on taking her new husband's name, which we've not discussed yet, but we'll see if that happens.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. We do appreciate it. Hope your weekend's going well. Hopefully you can enjoy a little bit of sun. We'd love to help you with any questions, comments, thoughts, real estate related. Please don't hesitate to reach out. The Minnesota real estate team is here for you. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Take care. Great show, guys. Steve, thanks so many for joining us online throughout the entire show. Mary, thank you. Your dear mother was joining us, Scott.
Thanks, Mom.
Was joining us. We also had a coming soon in Richfield, 7441 Bryant Avenue South, a great starter home. Be sure to check that one out. Steve, nice job, bud.
Thank you. It's always good to be here.
Any
Always
other
fun.
any other thoughts?
Get those sump pumps checked.
And,
Give us
and,
a call.
and Mom, we were not getting political. So if she
That was good.
She always tells me, do not get political. I'm like, we never get political.
That was good. Hey, guys, we'll be back next weekend. If you have topics you want us to hit, let us know. We're happy to do that. Steve, before we go though, do you have one of your events coming up? One of your fitness events?
I am competing on Wednesday in what's called the CrossFit quarterfinals. So I made the top percent or whatever to go to quarters. Top 200 go to semis. I should go to semis. That'll be in 3 weeks. And then after that, top 30 make the games. So,
Nice.
Whoa!
Animal.
Steve,
so I got.
what about Mike?
I'm
Don't
on
you
the
think Mike
bubble.
could qualify and get in there with you?
Did you do CrossFit?
I could do it.
I couldn't do it.
CrossFit.
CrossFit's a real workout. I mean, it's actually, you sweat.
Football in college was a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
Olympic lifts, so
Yeah.
I'm familiar with all of that stuff. I mean, it's definitely different than football is, but
Yeah.
at least I have the.
Steve, do you have any videos you could show us or bring maybe for our listeners
I
next
do.
time?
Why don't
You
you
do?
why don't you just do some stuff right here? Let's let's Scott.
Welcome back. We got a comment that says, welcome back, T-Bomb. Good to see you.
Nice.
T-Bomb is, again, it's Mike's nickname, the Tom Brady of mortgage. We love Mr. Mike. So, hey, we're done for the day. It's been a fun show. See you guys next weekend. Good job. Good job, buddy. Mike, Scott.
Thanks, guys.
Brian.